So I've got here the All Powers Monster X. This is a solar generator that I don't see anybody talking about. And in my preliminary testing that I've done so far, it has been quite surprising at what it can do. And it's got some really cool features like having a Bluetooth app so you can actually monitor this from your phone. So I'll show you how I did that here in a second. It's really cool, but I've got the Monster X and I've got 2 of these folding 100-watt solar panels. And it even comes with the Anderson to MC4 adapter. It's really nice that they supplied that. But I want to go through this just like I do with all my other solar generators. We're going to do a really heavy load on it and see if it can stand up to doing all of that work. And then as well, I'm going to be doing some testing on recharging it with these solar panels and possibly some other solar panels. So stick around for this full review of the All Powers Monster X. I think you'll be surprised at what this can do. This unit is really not overly too big. It's definitely easy to manage and move around. It's very robust handles, very robust body. It's all plastic. It's got a single wall charging port here on the back, and that's one of the nice features of it is it just uses a standard C13, C14 plug. It's got 4 AC outlets here on the front. It's got a 12-volt DC port here, 2 USB-C, 4 USB-A, and then an Anderson power pole and a small barrel port connector right here for the input. So as far as the specs go, this has a 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter with a 1500 watt hour battery and 200 watts of solar input. And it's 400 watts of AC or wall power input. And it is a lithium ion battery, so you can expect anywhere from 500 to 1000 cycles out of this. Basically, different companies rate their batteries at different amount of cycles. Call it 800 cycles is a really safe bet for lithium ion, unless you're using something like a Titan or something similar. There are other solar generators that'll get closer to 2000 cycles out of their lithium ion batteries, like the Titan solar generator. And I'll have information about all of these solar generators, this one as well, all on poweredportablesolar.com. So don't forget to go check that out as well. I don't want to get too detailed into the specs. It's really easy to find the specs online. But basically the box came with this, and the user manual, and the wall charger. The solar panels themselves come with the adapters, and they also have MC4 connectors here, which is really good. Now, when it comes to the solar panel, I was a little confused at first, but it's got these clasps here that hold the legs in. And what you don't really see is this strap here. You disconnect the strap and then you reconnect it to there, and that allows the leg to stay at about that 45-degree position. But I want to go ahead and get straight into the load test on this. Now this has a 1500 watt hour battery and a 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter, which means if I discharge this at 2000 watts, it's going to be 25% more than what the rated capacity of the battery is. So I'm going to be discharging this at a 1.25 C rate, which is really high. Pretty much all of my solar generators I discharge at about a 1 C rate, but that's because usually the batteries are about the same size and capacity as the inverter capacity. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how well this performs. You'll have to take some account for that. This is going to be discharging much faster than the battery capacity is rated to. So let's get right into it. This has been going for just over 20 minutes and we're already down to 10%. That's not very good at all. Multiple times I have adjusted this to be closer to the 2000 watt mark and it keeps on dropping, which means the voltage coming out of these ports is not doing very well. When this happens, that means it went from like 110 volts down to 100 volts. Now the kilowatt meter is only capable of tracking up to about 1500 watts, and since I was running more than 1500 watts through it, it actually can burn it out. So I had to disconnect that, and I'm just relying on what is shown here. But overall, 20 minutes, we're using now 1700 watts, but that going into 2000 watts is definitely not good. This should be not happening. We shouldn't be at 10% until we're close to at least 30 minutes. And so this doesn't look good as far as the efficiency goes. Keeping in mind that I am using this extremely hard 1500 watt hour battery, but pulling more than 1500 watts off of it. So it ran for 32 minutes total. It is definitely warm, not hot. The backside is significantly warm, but not so much that I can't keep my hand there. But it's getting close to that point. It is definitely very warm. The fans were running the whole time inside, but I can't get it to continue to run the fans. When I turn on the AC power just turns right back off, and we're just stuck at 5%. And if I turn on the DC power or the Bluetooth, but real quick, what I want to do is I'm going to test plugging in the AC wall charger I didn't see anywhere in the user manual that it didn't say to do this. Just gonna see what happens. Fans turn back on, it's blowing very hot air, and it is charging. It says it's only putting in 8 watts, not sure why, but regardless, I'm going to unplug it, and then once it's cooled off, I'll try charging with the solar panels. So it's been a couple of hours. This has had a chance to cool off, but it's not entirely cool. I can still feel the warmth on it, but regardless, it's not charging. I've tried the 100 watt folding all power solar panels as well as my own solar panels from poweredportablesolar.com, and I cannot get any charge to work except for AC power. So I can charge it up off the wall just fine, but not off the solar panels. Well, it's been weeks since I filmed that last section, and I've been in contact with All Powers multiple times trying to get this figured out. Basically what they told me, even though I was following their user manual, is that I put too much voltage in on this charge controller, and so therefore I burned out the charge controller. I don't know how that's possible since I followed their instructions properly, and I have set up dozens and dozens of other systems without ever burning a single one out. Either way, that is what they're claiming. And so right now I've got the AC charger on this, and I don't really know what's going on because it says it's at 45, but just the 5 is flashing, and that it's drawing 2 watts. It says 2 watts out. So it looks like it's actually pushing power out, not charging it up. So all in all, this system definitely seems to be broken. I can't get it to work. It held its heat for hours, even though it was sitting outside in below freezing temperatures. You can see in the video there's snow outside and everything, and this took forever to cool down. But I have to say that I'm extremely disappointed with the warranty department of All Powers, and I told them this right up front. Seeing how I'm an influencer, or just because I have a YouTube channel, typically you would think that these companies would bend over backwards to try to make sure I have good stuff to say about their systems. But instead, they just keep saying that I have an older unit and that it's my fault that I broke it, and that they don't hardly even have many of these units in stock anymore. It's going to be replaced with the Monster X Pro. And I'll put a comparison up right here of the Monster X and the Monster X Pro. Basically, the Monster X Pro has a larger inverter and more than 3 times larger solar input, as well as a wider voltage and amperage parameter for the solar input. And it also will charge faster from a wall outlet. But one of the biggest things that surprised me about the Monster X is that I can't use it like a UPS or an uninterrupted power supply. So all in all, I would definitely say that the Monster X unit is absolutely not worth getting. The warranty department is a big concern for me. But I would definitely be interested in trying the Monster X Pro. It has an RV plug, it's got much better specs, and supposedly a much better unit. So if you want to help support me in that, you can go to patreon.com/MinutemanPrep, become a contributor, and all of that money that goes to Patreon goes to buying units like this. So that way I can bring you reviews like this. I buy all of these systems with money out of my own pocket. I actually have 2 of these Titan solar generators. I just got my EcoFlow Delta Pros. I have 2 of them with 4 batteries, so I have videos coming out with that. I've got multiple videos coming out of the EcoFlow Delta Max. I've been testing that on my off-grid cabin, running load tests here in the office, everything like that. So I've got many, many more units that I'm going to be testing, and that is all because of you guys, to my subscribers, especially my Patreon members. You're the reason why I do it. I truly appreciate you. And if you want to be a supporter, you can check that out. Or you can visit poweredportablesolar.com and order your equipment through there. You're going to get the same discounts that you would anywhere else, but you will be able to help support the channel, which also helps me afford to buy more systems like this, so that way you know if they're good or not. Don't get the Monster X. That's definitely what I will say. Hopefully the Monster X Pro is better. We'll see when I get that one and how the testing goes. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to be more prepared, go to poweredportablesolar.com, get the best solar generators that are out on the market, and I'll see you guys in the next video.